Today, we're going to talk about Pythagorean Inequality Theorem, and we are going to learn how to identify triangles if it is right, acute, or obtuse. So let us have this. A triangle is right if the square of the longest side is equal to the sum of the squares of the shorter sides. So let us represent longest side as letter C. And then, if we're going to get the square of the longest side, we may write it as c squared. And then, sabi dito, yung square daw ng longest side, which is yung representation natin as c squared, equal dapat sa sum of the squares of the shorter sides. So, i-represent natin yung shorter sides as A and B. So, since we are going to use the word sum, we are just going to write A plus B. And then, of course, we need to square also the shorter sides. So, A squared plus B squared. Okay, so we are going to use this formula later on our example. So, again, kapag equal yung square ng longest side at yung sum ng square ng shorter sides, we can say that the triangle is a right triangle. Now, let us have obtuse. A triangle is obtuse if the square of the longest side is greater than to the sum of the squares of the shorter sides. So, again, i-represent natin yung longest sides as letter C. So, we're going to have C squared. Kasi sabi dito, square of the longest sides. And then, sabi, greater than. Mas malaki yung square ng longest sides. So, greater than. And then again, sum of the squares of the shorter side. So, we have A squared plus B squared. So, later on, we're going to use that again on our discussion. And then the last one, we have a triangle is acute if the square of the longest side is less than to the sum of the squares of the shorter sides. So, if we're going to write that, that would be C squared, and then less than, mas mababa, to the sum of the squares of the shorter sides. So, let us have these three given measurements of triangles for us to decide if the given measurements is acute, obtuse, or right. So, let us have number 1. We have 7, 8, and 10. So, from here, if this is our given measurements, obviously, yung malaking number, which is yung 10, ito yung ating longest side. And then, obviously, yung remaining numbers, which is 7 and 8, ito yung ating shorter sides. So, we're going to use the formula C squared, A squared plus B squared. Bakit walang equals, greater than, or less than? So, ilalagay lang natin yung mga symbols na yon later on after natin ma-solve yung mga given measurements para malaman natin kung sila ba ay equal, kung less than, or greater than. So, ang shorter sides natin is 7 and 8. So, we're going to have 7 squared plus 8 squared. Kasi yung A and B natin, representation siya ng shorter sides. And then, yung letter C, representation naman siya ng longest side. So, isubstitute lang natin yung 10 dun sa letter C. So, we're going to have 10 squared. And then, let us solve. So, 10 squared meaning 10 multiplied to itself. So, 10 times 10, that is 100. And then, 7 squared, so that is 7 multiplied by 7. So, that would be 49. Plus 8 squared, so that is 64. And then, let us add up 49 and 64. So, 49 plus 64, that is 113. So, now, we can say that 100 is less than 113. Mas mababa yung 100 kaysa sa 113. So, here we can say that 100 is less than 113. So, pwede na nating ilagay yung symbol na less than. And according to our definition a while ago, kapag mas mababa yung square ng longest sides kesa sa square ng sum ng shorter sides, that is acute triangle. Kasi, mas mababa yung square ng ating longest side kesa sa sum ng squares ng ating shorter sides. Now, let us have number 2. We have 9, 12, and 15. So, obviously, again, kung alin yung mas malaking number, yun yung ating longest side. So, again, we have here c squared, a squared plus b squared. Yung c, ang representation natin ng longest side. So, yung c, palitan lang natin ng 15. And then, yung natitirang numbers, which is yung 9 and 12, yun yung ating shorter sides. So, i-substitute lang natin sila dun sa A and B. So, we're going to have 9 squared plus 12 squared. So, let us simplify. 15 squared, so 15 times 15, that is 225. And then 9 squared, that is 81. Plus 12 squared, that is 144. And then let us add up 81 and 144. So 81 plus 144, that is 225. So if we are going to look at our answers, makikita natin na yung square ng longest sides, which is 225, ay kaparehas lang ng sum ng square ng ating shorter sides, which is 225. So, we can now write equals. So, 225 is equal to 225. And sabi natin kanina, if they are equal, that is right triangle. And then last example, we have 3, 6, and 7. So again, yung pinakamataas na number, that would be our longest side. So, i-replace or i-substitute na natin siya dun sa ating c squared. So, yung c, palitan natin ng 7 squared. And then, the remaining measurements, 3 and 6, dun sa letter A and B. So, 3 squared plus 6 squared. And then again, simplify lang natin. So, 7 squared, that is 49. 3 squared, that is 9. Plus 6 squared, that is 36. And then let us add up 9 and 36. So we're going to have 9 plus 36, that would be 45. So again, tingin tayo dun sa ating longest side, which is 49. And in relation to the sum of the square of our shorter sides, which is yung 45, yung 49 ay mas mataas kesa dun sa 45. So that is greater than. And if that is greater than, obviously, that is obtuse triangle. So that's pretty much it. I hope you understood our discussion for today. Thank you.